Well, personal attacks are ramping up in the race for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. This weekend, U.S. Representative Angie Craig had to answer to accusations of endorsement phishing, while State Senator John Hoffman was in the ICU after a politically motivated assassination attempt.
And today, she debated Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan on Minnesota Public Radio. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard is live at the Hennepin County Elections Office. Corin, they're running out of time to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, Randy and Simone, early voting is underway. They're actually breaking it down right now, but that primary is on August 11th. And today's debate between Flanagan and Craig showed the two candidates are really sharpening their tongues. For the second time this primary season, Angie Craig and Peggy Flanagan traded barbs in debate. Hamlin political science professor David Schultz had a couple key takeaways.
First, it's become very personal. Two, that probably reflects the fact that it's very close.
A personal story from Senator John Hoffman took over the conversation this weekend. At a Flanagan campaign event, he said Craig sent a friend to convince him to endorse the Congresswoman twice after an assassin tried to kill him and his family last June, including once while he was still in the ICU. Craig adamantly denied it on Fox 9 this weekend and again during the debate.
Look, I don't know what Senator Hoffman went through when he was in the ICU, but what I can tell you is that I would never, ever do that. And nor would David Wellstone ever go to the ICU on anyone's behalf and talk about politics while John Hoffman lay there.
Hoffman stood by his story, and his wife Yvette also remembers it happening. Schultz says it's possible the story motivates some voters to cast ballots for Flanagan.
But I also just don't know how many of those undecided voters are going to be paying attention to this issue or even care about it.
He says the candidates have what may be more glaring Achilles heels. For Craig, it's a vote to pass the Lake and Riley Act, clearing the way for stricter immigration enforcement months before Operation Metro Surge arrived in Minnesota. For Flanagan, it's the fraud that became pervasive while she was lieutenant governor. But on the whole, Schultz says the candidates are often on the same page.
I think it's important that we restore the cuts to Medicaid.
One of my highest priorities would be to repeal the Medicaid cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
And they both told moderator Brian Bax that if they lose, they'll throw their support behind the other candidate for November. On the GOP side, there are no scheduled debates. Michelle Tafoya seems to be the front runner, although Adam Schwartzy actually won the endorsement at the party's convention. Live in Minneapolis, Corin Hoggard, Fox 9.
All right, thank you, Corin.